Good evening, everybody. Alongside Teddy Atlas, I'm Joe Tessitore. We welcome you ringside for a much-anticipated bout. Let's set the table for you and get ready to dish up this big night of action. Oscar De La Hoya is making his way to the ring with a determined giddy-up in his step. Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker's on his way to the ring. You can see it in his eyes. You just know he's got that feeling tonight.
All right, guys, remember, obey my commands at all times. All right, let's have a good clean fight.
So we are underway here. Round one, scheduled for 12. Oscar De La Hoya, throughout his career, Oscar De La Hoya has faced a little bit of everything. Tonight he's going up against a counterpuncher. How do you think that stacks up?
Well, you know, it depends. I mean, Oscar, when he's in the big fights, you know, he finds a way to blow them. I mean, his legacy when it's all over is he's made more money than any other fighter in the history of the sport, probably, inside and outside the ring. And also he loses all his big fights. He finds a way to undermine himself, quite honestly, in big fights. And he short-circuits himself. I mean, he just fights the wrong fight. And it's very, very imperative in this fight that he fights the right fight, that he uses his height, you know, uses that jab, and he doesn't walk in. If he just walks in and says, I'm just going to be the bigger guy, which he might be thinking here, well, then he's going to give the counterpuncher a chance to do what he does well.
Nice block by Pernell Whitaker. Oscar De La Hoya is going to have to think about what he can do defensively now because the swelling is really becoming much more pronounced.
Yes, it is, and you're right. Defensively, he's going to have to make sure that he's able to move that head, block those punches, use his legs, you know, stay out of that striking zone for a little while so that swelling gets controlled with the ice in the corner.
That's what Sweet Pea does best. Good counterpunch. Very clean offense from defense by Pernell Whitaker. While still fighting and continuing on as a major pay-per-view attraction, Oscar De La Hoya was able to start up his own promotional company. And he's been wildly successful, able to unseat some of the power brokers of the game.
Yeah, he has. Well, he's used his name, you know, to make money in the ring and outside the ring. It's a name that people are familiar with in this business. He's had a lot of help with Rich Schaefer, who has been his business partner. And he's done something that a lot of successful fighters haven't been able to do, taken his money and he's grown it outside the ring. He's grown it, as you just said, with other businesses.
Excellent counterpunch by Pernell Whitaker. He gives as well as he takes. You saw it on that exchange. Coming to the halfway point of this third round. That's a good block by Pernell Whitaker. A minute to go in what has been a memorable round. Great stuff from these two. We come to the end of the round. A round that I'm having a tough time trying to think about who won. I can only imagine what the judges are thinking about. Teddy, if there's one thing you look for in a round like that and say, okay, I'm going to give it to this guy over this guy, what is it?
Well, the first thing is, if I'm a judge, I take a little notepad and I make a little mark down, blue or red corner, what he did early, because sometimes a judge has a tendency to forget what was done early.
Wow! Oscar De La Hoya stunned, and he is hurt. Good defense just covering up down low. Pernell Whitaker's making for a tough target there. He gets away from that punch. Dismisses his opponent's headshot. We've heard you say that Oscar De La Hoya's strength is his left hand. He's naturally left-handed. Let's specifically talk about his jab and his hook. What do you think of it?
Oh, good. I mean, I wouldn't say great, but good enough to win the titles that he's been able to win, and good enough for the most part to have the upper hand, the upper left hand, without, you know, making too much of a pun out of it. But I think the most important thing is, for the most part, he uses his height. He has great size. You know, he started out as a junior lightweight. This is a guy who was tall, rangy, and with a good left hand, he was a guy who could control most fighters most of the time.
Blocks that punch. Pernell Whitaker just being smart on the outside. Oscar De La Hoya's training regimen probably didn't include much work defensively, because he has been a sitting target all night long.
It's just not moving his head. And you know, the problem when you try to block and you don't move your head, your opponent can put punches together and keep you defensive, you're handcuffed. But when you move your head, you create an opening. So your opponent throws a punch, he misses, he doesn't put them together. He's worried about something coming back. Right now, the opponent's not worried about anything coming back.
Boy, that's a big gash there on the cheek. The action starts up again, but it's only favored one man. Hard to see this fight going the distance based on what we've witnessed so far. Not precise at all by Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker's movement's really helping him out, avoiding that punch. Wow! Oscar De La Hoya stunned and staggered.
Some punches here.
Sweet piece, sweet block. Just 10 seconds. There it is! He goes down in the later stages of this round. He's going to try to survive it.
One, two, three.
And there's the bell. Can you believe that? He was saved by the bell. Teddy, you've been in a spot like this before as a trainer.
Right now, you know what? What do you spend time on? You want to spend time on telling him why he got in that spot, why he got hit. But first, you got to make sure he revives. You got to get him clear-minded. You got to get his senses back first.
Unable to score with the hook. De La Hoya is not really doing much of anything here. He's been completely ineffective since being knocked down.
Well, you know, we talk about sometimes it takes a while for the sting to go away from a certain punch. You know, the haziness to kind of clear out a little bit, to get your senses back. But right now, I think physically he's all right, but mentally the memory is still there, and he's afraid to let those hands go with confidence.
Strike after catching one by Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya's got to understand where he is right now in this fight. He'd be delusional to think that this is a close fight. He's down.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm delusional, and I have him down. But the thing right now is he's got to roll those dice. He has to really gamble if he's going to get back in charge of this fight.
I suppose if you're his opponent, you just keep doing what you're doing. Keep going after it. That cut is there for a reason. Why change anything?
If you're the guy who caused the cut, yeah, the first thing you think, Joe, is you keep going after it, but you don't want to get carried away either. You don't want to go head hunting to the point where...
All right,
this fight is now over. Oscar De La Hoya's night's going to start early. That's a TKO win. The Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, is your winner by TKO, Teddy.
He did a great job. From the beginning to the end, there was never a doubt.
For Teddy Atlas, I'm Joe Tessitore. Have yourself a great night.